What's up, everybody? I'm Aiden.
I'm Clark. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Epiphone 1959 Les Paul Standard.
Welcome to Liquid Studios. So we just received this in the mail today. We're going to open it up here, take some pictures, take a look at it, and then we're going to plug it in, get some sound samples, and then talk about our first impressions with this guitar.
Really excited to check this guitar out after reading all the specs and reviews of it so far. It sounds like it should be an amazing value for the price, and let's open it up and see what we get.
So we've played around with the guitar now for the last couple days. Clark spent some time with it, recorded some of the sound samples that you're going to hear, and I played around with it a bit yesterday and a bit today.
We'll dive into our thoughts here a little bit on the guitar. First thing I'm going to get out of the way is I'm not going to compare it at all to my other Epiphone guitar or my Gibson. All I'm going to say about it really is that it definitely feels different from those guitars. But I'll do a follow-up video where I do some sound samples with the other guitar and really dive into the comparison of the feel and sound differences between the three. My first initial thoughts of the guitar last night when we pulled it out of the box and I played around with it for a few minutes was I wasn't too impressed with it. I found it was really heavy and the neck was really fat on it, like on the Sunburst Les Paul that I had. After playing the guitar, doing the sound demos, I found that I do actually really like the neck on the guitar. Even though it is a little bit fatter, once you get past that, like it's really smooth, the action on it, and the fretwork's really nice on it. And it plays really well. Like, I find it's definitely not like a shredder guitar neck, but it encourages you to kind of like slow down and almost smooth out your leads and everything else that you're doing on it. And I also found with standing with it for a little while, the weight wasn't so much of an issue. I think it was just the initial impression of it because I wasn't used to the guitar being quite that heavy with playing a lot of different chambered Les Pauls and really playing a lot more like modded Strat style guitars lately that are a lot lighter and you don't really notice them at all when you have them around your shoulder. One other thing I want to mention too about the guitar is like I didn't really notice much of a difference with the Indian Laurel fretboard as opposed to a rosewood. Out of all the different types of wood for necks, I definitely prefer an ebony fretboard the most, and then probably a maple behind that, and then rosewood. And this I felt was the same as having a rosewood style fretboard on a guitar.
There's a lot to like with the guitar. Especially if you're looking for like a vintage style instrument. The tuning keys look right, like they look like the style you would have seen back then. Even to the case, like the case is that like vintage brown leather type of look. It's not as nice as the Gibson case, but it's a decent case for it. Yeah, like I said, it looks the part for a vintage instrument. The frets feel like the vintage frets. They don't feel like the big jumbos on a typical Les Paul. Like Clark said, with the neck, it's a little odd at first. because it is a lot thicker than any Les Paul neck we've had before. Once you kind of get playing with it, I didn't really find a huge issue with it, but it did feel a little different. And the weight, definitely, like, you're going to notice this thing when you pick it up. It weighs a lot, which is like vintage Les Pauls. They had a lot of weight to them. As Clark said, it's not a shredder guitar for sure. When I was picking up and playing it, it's really nice to play chords and strum stuff out on. It sounds great even just when you're strumming it acoustically. And the pickups too, the pickups are a very full sounding pickup. Very different to like the ceramics that were in the one Les Paul Classic that we had. These are definitely a very big and full sounding pickup, which you'll hear in the sound sample.
That's one thing I would definitely say about the guitar too, is everything that you're getting in this guitar would be the typical specs you would want to upgrade an Epiphone Les Paul to make it more like a Gibson anyways, because you're getting the BurstBucker pickups, you're getting the better tuning keys, and all that type of stuff inside of the guitar. So it definitely makes it worthwhile, because if you were to buy an Epiphone Les Paul and spend the money upgrading it, you would probably get into spending more, especially when you get into buying a case with the guitar as well, going that route, than you would buying this guitar.
The guitar looks, as I said, like, it looks fantastic. And the wood on it looks great. They said they worked with Gibson Custom Shop to develop these, and I can see why. Like, any really nice Les Pauls we've seen and played, like, they look amazing. The woodwork on them is great. Now, this isn't like any crazy exotic. It's a little bit more like a plain kind of design and like a matte finish on it, but just the top on it, it's not the whole piece of wood. It is a laminate top on it, but it looks great. Like, the tiger stripe on it looks really sharp, and it gives it a bit of a vintage feel just with that matte finish on it. And then when you flip it over onto the back and onto the neck, just the way the wood grains come out, like, it looks great, and it looks as nice as most any of the really nice Les Pauls we've seen.
And I'd say too about with the finish, the one nice thing that I really do like about it is it feels more, especially on the neck when you're playing it, it feels more like you can feel the wood through the finish, as opposed to any of the other Les Pauls that I have that almost have, especially my Epiphone, has more of almost like a plasticky feel on the finish of the neck, and then my Gibson feels really nice and slick, but it's still, you don't feel almost that wood grain through it, whereas with this one, that's what you feel, which is what I've come to actually really like in a few necks, like in my Charvel neck and in my Schecter neck. It's great to have that type of a feeling when you run your hand up and down it.
And the frets on this thing are spectacular. Like, I don't know, I don't think they used the Plex system for them, but they did a fantastic job on rounding off the frets. Like, they're so smooth all the way down the neck, which is usually not really the case with a lot of Epiphones. Like, sometimes you can get sharp frets on those, but they did a fantastic job on the fretwork.
So this is the first time I've really set up and played the guitar. I played it for a few minutes there right when I opened it up, and I have to say my very first impressions are it's a really heavy guitar. It's probably about as heavy as my Silver Burst was, maybe even a little bit heavier than that one. And the neck's probably about the same profile. It's definitely a fatter neck than the Gibson that I have or the Epiphone. So let's check out some sounds. All the sounds you're hearing right now are recorded through my Fractal FM3.
Thanks everybody for checking out our video. If you liked it,
Please like, subscribe, comment, and hit the notification bell to stay up to date on our latest videos.
you can connect with us on social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
We also host a live stream every Monday and Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on YouTube.
All the songs we create are released on all the major distributors, Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, and YouTube Music. We use DistroKid to release our content. Anybody who's not a member, there's an affiliate link below. You can sign up and save yourself 7%. Thanks for watching.